What's up, everyone? I'm Jellison, and I'm here with former Purdue guard and current grad assistant PJ Thompson. PJ, how are you?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks so much for coming on. Another shout out to Jake Mills for helping me make this happen. Um, so obviously, we're in this whole COVID-19 pandemic, and it's affected you guys a lot as a team. How have you guys kind of gone forward throughout this whole situation?
Yeah, just understanding that, everyone's affected. It's not only Purdue that's being affected. So, times where, others are in quarantine and we're able to get on the court, you got to take advantage of that. By, being really good in our workouts, being really good off the court, being responsible, doing the things that's going to, keep you out of quarantine and keep you on the court, which it could put you at an advantage, just with not knowing exactly what's going to go on during the season, but just controlling what we can control, staying out of trouble and doing everything we can to stay healthy.
hmm Have you guys had any instances within the program of anyone testing positive or anything like that?
Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have. But, we've done a pretty good job of keeping it in-house. And,
Mm.
we've done a good job of it not, spreading too far. And, the guys that, have had it, they've quarantined and everyone's healthy and, able to have a decent summer, to improve and, do everything we can while we're on the court.
hmm So I talked to Coach Painter about 2 months ago now, and he was telling me about how you guys were kind of running practice where it was like guys were in a pod. So maybe like Isaiah, Eric, Sasha were all in a pod, and then they had an assistant coach. Are you guys still doing it that way?
Yeah, so once we kind of figured out when the season was going to start, the hours went up. So instead of like really working out with your group, where you live, it turned into practices, more practices. So we were able to go on the court. Coach Painter was more active as far as running things. Instead of like more skill workout, it became more team oriented and practicing.
hmm and then I saw in your Snapchat story that video of Isaiah.
Yeah.
What was that all about?
That was last year. So during our conditioning period last year, we had the Navy SEALs come,
Mm.
and they came for the first time. I can't remember what year. Maybe I was a freshman. They came for the first time my freshman year, and that was when Purdue was coming off being last in the Big Ten, and we ended up making the tournament that next year, and we finished like fourth in our league, which was really good. So we went from last to fourth, and then making the tournament. So it was awesome, man. The Navy SEALs did a great job teaching us unbelievable lessons, really brought our team together. So they decided to bring them back for last year's team. And Isaiah can't swim. And he's like terrified of water, but like you have to do it. Like they're like, all your brothers are here, we're here, you're not gonna drown, but you gotta jump. So like he waited up there for like 15 minutes, man, and then he finally jumped, but he made me jump with him while I had all my clothes on. So he's still terrified of water, but he did that.
Hey, that's understandable. I'm terrified of water too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that was the other day, but um, so what specific role do you have on the team? I know you do a lot of scouting and things of that nature, but kind of go over what your specific role is within the coaching staff.
Yeah, so Grady and I are graduate assistants. So what we do, man, from the recruiting standpoint, we're not necessarily talking to recruits, but we're kind of keeping everything organized. We're actively knowing who we are recruiting, and when they come on visits, we might drive them around in a golf cart around campus, stuff like that. Sort of to communicate with them that way. But as far as like actively recruiting people, we don't. But you still kind of see what's going on. We're still in those recruiting meetings. So it's been unbelievable, man. I've learned a ton. As far as like on the court, like we're like the skilled, like workout guys. The guys can text us anytime. There's no hour restrictions as far as getting in the gym with us. We rebounded for the guys, putting them through a workout. So growing up, having a dad that has his own training business, I was really familiar with the training aspect and skill development part of things. So I was able to learn a ton from him. Working out with trainers in Indianapolis, Micah Shrewsbury. I've learned a ton from him from his deal with his stint with the Celtics and what he was doing with them. So the skill development part is what I love. I love being on the court. I love making guys better, similar to, when I was a player. So that transformation was pretty easy just because I was so familiar with it. And then just in practice, man, encouraging the guys, not necessarily being a coach, quote unquote, but a bigger brother. We've been through the program, Grady and I, we've had success here. I've been around Coach Painter, and Coach Brantley was around since I was probably in first grade, younger than that. He's known my dad for so long, and they've recruited me since I was in 8th, 9th grade. So just knowing Coach Painter for that long, playing for him, getting to play for Coach Lutz and be around Shrews. Like, I know the staff so well. I'm able to be a bigger brother to everybody, not only Isaiah, and give them advice, tell them what they need to do, and having that respect, player-coach respect relationship with them, but also being friends, considering I did play with like Aaron Wheeler and Sasha Stevanovic. They were freshmen, when I was a senior. So.
Mm-hmm. And you touched on your brother Isaiah, obviously. Now you're coaching him. What's that whole relationship been like? And what is it like to coach your little brother? I'd assume it's kind of a weird thing, but it's also really cool too.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, man. We haven't had any issues. We've always been really close. Isaiah's always looked up to me, and I've always looked up to Isaiah in a lot of ways, man. He's done a great job of being, just a little brother of a big brother who's had success. That's really hard to do. But, he's done an awesome job. He's held his own. I think has potential to be the best in our family. And he's doing well up here. So I couldn't be more proud of him. But just because of, like, he is here, it did make me want to come back even more. To get into coaching earlier than I thought, and just to be around him. I know freshman year, sophomore year are your toughest years in college. You got to get used to everything not being about you. You got to get used to being a part of a team and having ups and downs and stuff. And he's done a good job with that. But as far as like that, when he leaves Mackey, man, he's on his own. I want him to make mistakes and grow and learn from it, and be his own man. So once he leaves here, I don't really talk to him too much. I let him do his thing. Catch up with him on Monday. Now, I don't really want to hear about what he's doing anyway. So when he leaves Mackey, man, he's out of my hands. But when he's here, I take care of him. I treat him just like the other guys. I'm not necessarily harder on him or anything, but it's been a good relationship so far.
Mm. And obviously, excuse me. Obviously, the Big Ten announced that they'll be playing football and the basketball season date start. I guess that's how you say that, is November 24th, 25th. So how does that kind of impact Purdue basketball? Obviously, you guys didn't know if the season was 100% happening with everything going on and Big Ten canceling the football season and all that.
Yeah, it impacted a lot just because we didn't know, man. So we were doing, individual workouts for a long time. And, normally when school's starting, that's when conditioning is ramping up. That's when practice is around the corner, but we really didn't know yet. So we were doing individual workouts like we were in the summer. When I say individual workouts, I mean their group workouts they were in. Just wasn't necessarily the team thing. But once we found out the dates, everyone was excited so we could start practicing now. So hours went up from like 4 or 5 to 8. And we were able to do more things as a team. And that's what guys were wanting to do. They're tired of working out with the same people. They wanted to compete with other people and be in a team setting where all, 15 of the guys were together and able to learn and compete and, do team things. So once they put a date on it, it was awesome. The guys were happy because they felt like they were going to have a season for sure now. And then with football being able to play as well, they'll kind of be able to do it before us, I think. And then we'll kind of see how that dynamic works and how it'll affect our season. But for right now, everyone's just super excited that we know we're going to get to play. So that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. And obviously it's not going to be like previous seasons like normal. But how do you see this winter/spring going, and how likely do you think it is that we'll see a Big Ten bubble or something of that nature?
I haven't heard much about a bubble. It'll be interesting to see, how it works without a bubble. But no, I haven't heard much about one. That was like some early talks, but they haven't really said much about it since that I've heard. I do think, with, limited fans being in the gym, like Mackey's not going to be that same presence as it once was before. So, I think the teams that are most together, the teams that can, stay healthy, do the right things off the court. The teams that can practice, which allows them to practice more. So I think like the more solid teams will win. You'll see in college basketball this year, just because of all the different dynamics that's going on. I think you can be steady, on and off the court, and you're able to sustain a certain level of, just steadiness. I think that'll help your team out, just because the crowds aren't going to be the same. So road games aren't truly going to be road games anymore. Home games aren't truly going to be home games anymore. So I think the team that's the most together, that's worked the hardest, that's committed to being the best they can off the court, which allows them to be healthy on the court. I think you'll see those teams having the most success.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think no fans will specifically impact you guys? Obviously, Mackey, it's an insane environment, best environment I've ever been to. Do you think it'll, like, for example, I talked to Kyle Guy yesterday. He was talking about how it was a lot easier to communicate on the court in the bubble with no fans. So how do you see the gameplay changing, if at all, with no fans?
I think it does a ton, man. It's been awesome watching the NBA in a bubble, and I think that's been a great joy to a lot of people like around the world. And I'm a huge basketball fan, man. I don't care if the game's at midnight. I'm gonna, if I got to be up at 7, I'm gonna stay up and watch the whole game. So, man, I love watching I love watching basketball. What the NBA's done has been awesome, and I got a chance to check out Kyle. I've known him since high school, so glad to see him doing well too. But just in college, it'll affect it a lot. Mackey playing in front of 14, 15,000, like that's an advantage. Like they can help you win a ton of games, and they have, over the course of my time being around here. So without them, it's going to be different. Like you said, the team, like being able to communicate more. That's what something, I'm on the guys about right now, just talking a ton, talking. The teams that are talking the most are the most connected, offensively and defensively. And with everything that's going to be going on, you're going to have to talk even more. So, and you're going to be heard, and it's easier to see who's not talking. So I definitely think it's going to be really, really, really different. But just being able to be out there and play basketball, I know that's going to make, myself happy and the guys happy as well. So we're looking forward to that.
Mm-hmm. And so obviously you played 4 years for Purdue, had a ton of success, won a Big Ten championship. How do you kind of look back on your time as a player?
Yeah, man, I'm extremely grateful for, everything Purdue's done for me, from when I played until now, man. Purdue's been unbelievable, and the support that they've given, me, my family, and, everyone that's associated with Purdue basketball. If you stay here, for 4 years and you get your degree, they're going to take care of you for life. And that's not only the coaching staff and Coach Painter, who does it at the best of the best level, but that's everyone, from support staff to your professors to everyone associated with Purdue. Purdue is something different, about, its culture, about its school, that they take care of you for life if you do, well for them, and, you're a good person. So I just wanted to be a good person, man, while I was here. And, I was able to do that. And then on the court, we had a lot of success, and we grew from when we were freshmen. We went through a lot of hard times here. We lost some games we shouldn't have lost, but, we won a ton of games. Like you said, won a Big Ten championship, 2 Sweet 16s. We won 19 or 20 games in a row my senior year, and we were ranked 3rd in the country for a long time. So it was awesome. I look back, if I had to go back to high school and make the same decision, I'd be coming to Purdue University. So play with some unbelievable players, make some unbelievable connections and fans and friends for life. So I'm extremely grateful for everything, Purdue's done for me.
Mm-hmm. And I can kind of tell you kind of give off the same vibe as Coach Painter. And I think he's done the best job in the country. Obviously, I'm biased about establishing a culture. So right. Has the culture kind of changed at all from when you were a freshman, say, until now? Have you seen any changes in it, or has it kind of stayed the same?
Yeah, I think from when we were freshmen, or when I was a freshman until now, I thought, or my first year as a pro, I thought everything was pretty consistent. We still had Klein, still had Carson, still had Grady Eifert. So everything was still pretty consistent. I thought last year, It took a dip a little bit, not necessarily the culture, but, the level of focus and understanding the maturity you got to have on and off the court to be successful in the league like we play in. Like the Big Ten's tough. Big Ten, ACC, you can choose, but it's one of the 2-3 best conferences in the country, top to bottom. And, to win in our league, you got to be consistent, in all ways. So like what I was talking to our guys about yesterday was just, we got to be able to just, instead of being so high and low, we got to find a happy medium and just be consistent. We can't beat Michigan State by 20 at home. We can't beat Virginia by 20. And then we go lose to Nebraska. Like we can't be in the gym for 2 weeks with me consistent. And then we have success. We make shots in practice. So then we take 3-4 weeks of getting in the gym once or twice a week. Like it doesn't work like that. So like basketball is a sport. You got to be consistent in what you do. And even when it's going well, you got to work out more. And when it's not going well, again, you work out more because that's how you get out of the slumps in basketball. So I thought our guys needed to understand that. And part of that was because they played with, seniors like we had. And then we had Raphael Davis, who was an unbelievable leader and who kind of really changed Purdue culture. And then we kind of took that over as captains, as leaders. And then they were able to have Grady Eifert and Ryan Klein leading. So they didn't have to do a lot of the heavy lifting. And then all of those guys leave, and now it's on them to do the heavy lifting and understand they got to keep that level of consistency up here. And they just weren't ready yet, but we were young. So it comes with being young, just how we used to do it 4 or 5 years ago. So the guys understand that now, and, they've been better. They've been better this summer. So I look forward to our season. We got a lot of talent, a lot of good young guys. And we have no seniors on the team. So I think our guys are hungry and ready to get back to doing what Purdue does.
Mm-hmm. You talked about Raphael a little bit there. When I talked to Coach Painter back a few months ago, I asked him, who do you think's the best leader that you've had in your time at Purdue? And he said 2 guys, Raphael and you. Mm-hmm. So how do you kind of assume that role of becoming a leader, and what impact has Coach Painter had on that?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Painter, I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. And, even though I've been around him so long, I might be biased, but I think the proof's in the pudding. Like, if you can come to practices and watch him teach, and I was just raving about it. Like, it's unreal. And I've been around him so long, but it's like every day something new that I'm taking from him and learning from him and understand. It's like, okay, I'm going to use that when I'm a head coach one day, or when I actually become an assistant, like I can bring that to another program. Like it's something like that every single day. And I think he's one of the best coaches because it's not about, winning and losing for him. It's about making you a better person. Like you're going to go to class with Paint. Like you're going to be on time. You're going to show up early. Like he teaches you life lessons that, I don't think you're getting that at a lot of places in the country. It's about what can you do for me on the court? And if you can't, well, we're going to go to the next person. It's not like that with him. He's more so everything else besides basketball. Basketball's last. He's like, basketball is what you do. It's not who you are. So I've learned so much from him. With Raphael, he just like, he gets the best out of you. He was always pushing us, man. And he was on me a lot when I was here and I was young and I didn't get it at first. I'm like, man, this is weird. Like, he's on me a ton. But he just wanted me to keep pushing myself to be the best that I can be. And I took that to the guys now as an assistant. And even when I was a player and I was a captain for 2 years, just leading by example, doing the right things, every single day. Working by example, not just talking about it. But if I go shoot 500 shots, like I'm going to bring somebody with me. Like if I go to Indy to work out with my dad, well, I'm going to try to get Vince to go, Dakota to go, Basil, Kendall, and 2 other guys. And Biggie, and let's all, get in 2-3 cars and let's drive 50 minutes to my dad's gym and he can work us out. So like, I learned quickly at Purdue, like from Painter and from Ray, like it's not about you anymore. Like it was about you in high school. Like it's about you in middle school when you're going up and you're growing up. But when you get to college, it's not about you. It's about the players that played before you. The players that are going to be after you. The fans that pay a lot of money to come watch you play. It's about doing it for your family, like all those things. But like doing it for you is last. And I think I got what helped me have success in college was I learned that quick. As soon as my freshman year ended, it's not about you no more. So I'm gonna do everything in my power so I can start the next year and start for the next 3 years and help Purdue win, because that's all that mattered to me was winning. I could care less if I scored 15 or 4 points, as long as I was consistent in everything that Coach Painter wanted me to be consistent in, and we won. That's all I cared about.
Mm-hmm. So then after you graduated from Purdue, before you came back, you went overseas and played. So talk about that whole experience and what that was like.
Yeah, it was dope, man. I loved it. Like I was in Denmark. I played with Jordan Matthews. He was the starting shooting guard when Gonzaga went to the national championship that first time. He was a great player, man. I think he was first or second in the league in scoring. And then I was third or fourth and like second assist. So we were a really good backcourt. But I think we made that team better, and that was something I wanted to do. Being a professional, like it taught me a lot. Like we worked out overseas, especially, it's a lot different than the States. Like we're practicing twice a day. You're by yourself. Like you might go order some food and you have no idea what they're saying. So it's like it's a total different aspect. Instead of having a car, like if I wanted a car with the team I was in, like I'm renting a car. Like they didn't provide us a car. They provided us a bike. So it's like I'm biking to a game. I might have 25. I'm biking myself back home. Like with Jordan, we might stop at McDonald's or something. So it was a real different experience. But I love Denmark, man. I just talked to one of my teammates. He's still there now. He loves it, man. They want me to come back and visit. So I told him if I have some time after the season, hopefully I can get back to Denmark and visit them, because I truly do love that place, man. They got some really good people that took care of me while I was there. And I'm a family guy. I'm a friends guy. Like that's what, kind of brought me back to the States. So it was hard for me being away from home. But, Jordan, like I said, Jeremy Williams, one of my good teammates, good friends of mine I played with there. They really helped me get through and really get through it, because it's hard, man, when you're by yourself for 10 months and you love like family and friends as much as I do. So it was a great experience, man. If I definitely could have easily played, 10 years and then try to get into coaching. But I just thought it was best to do it right now at the age I was at.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Why didn't you want to pursue like further pursue your professional career in basketball, and you kind of transitioned to coaching?
Yeah, it was hard. Like I was in the best shape of my life, playing the best basketball of my life. I was in position, to get a really, really good job that next year. My agent was telling me he's talked to a lot of good teams. So I had a really good year. And I put so much pressure on myself, man, to have that really good year, because Denmark's not a place where you make a ton of money playing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have a really good season there, like that next year, you can make really good money. It's like Jordan, for example. I told you what he did in Denmark. That next year, he's in first league Italy. So, like, it could have been, like, a situation like that for me where I'm in a really, 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 really good basketball country. And then from there, I go to get to the Euro League, which is, like, in 3, 4, 5, 6 years, which is one of my goals, play at the highest level overseas. And then, if you can, try to work your way back to the NBA. You never know what can happen when you're 27, 28 years old. So, and you played high level overseas. So, I had a lot of, goals I still wanted to accomplish. I was playing the best basketball of my life. It was awesome, but it just came down to like what I value most. And I do love basketball. I still love it. I'm still in love with it. I do miss it, but I could do the same thing like as a player, as a coach. Like I valued making people better, making my teammates better. And the quickest way for me to be able to do that at the highest level I wanted, I felt like, was through coaching. And then when we talk about being like, if I didn't come back to Purdue, like if it was a grad assistant somewhere else, I would have kept playing 100%. But having that opportunity to come back under Coach Painter, who I respect more than, anybody in the world, and he's taking care of me, and then have like with Micah Shrewsbury coming from the Celtics and his connections, and it made sense. And my little brother starting as a freshman here at Purdue, and then I'll have 2 years with him, which is probably the 2 hardest years of your life as far as basketball goes. Like it was kind of a no-brainer at that point when I talked to Coach Painter about it and the way he explained it and broke it down to me. And that's with me having those dreams and aspirations and goals. Like it just made sense to do this move. So I'm happy with it so far. I'm content. It's gone really well here at Purdue. I definitely want us to have a good season, win more games. The more games you win, and the more attention your program's getting, and it's all about winning. You win more games, it creates more opportunities for everyone else. So definitely want to win more games here, get Purdue back to where they need to be towards the top of the Big Ten and try to win the league and keep working towards getting, now it's like reaching some goals as a coach. So it's all the same thing, just in a different, now I'm in a tie suit.
So you mentioned you have 2 years with Isaiah.
Mm.
So does the grad assistant thing, is that only a 2-year thing and then you move on from that?
Yeah, so like you can do it in 1 year, but it'd be a lot of work. And Coach Painter once, like when he first did it with Joey and DJ Bird, who's now an assistant, they're both assistants in college D1. But once he wanted the program to be 2 years, so it's less workload as far as school and you can space it out. And then he really wanted you to be here for 2 years so you can develop relationships with the guys. You can start learning under him and the assistants, and you can kind of get a better feel of how that's going to be in 2 years instead of 1. So it's a 2-year program. I'll get my master's in May, and then I'll be on the job hunt. And that's what it sucks because Corona, like you can't go to the Final Four last year, and that's when you meet a lot of new people. So it is what it is. But like I said, if our team does well and as much as Purdue takes care of their people, I really never was worried about, what are you going to do after those 2 years? It just kind of will happen. So.
Now, would you like to stay with Purdue as an assistant coach possibly if there's an opening, or are you going to start looking other places in the Big Ten at the D2 level, in AIA, something like that?
Yeah, man, it doesn't matter, honestly, where for me. Obviously I love Purdue, and, Purdue's everything to me, and I love to coach here one day. But if it doesn't happen at, 25, which is what I'll be, I definitely understand that. It takes a long time, to get here and to get to this level. And, all these coaches, and they have stories. They have stories where they started, how much they were making, what they were doing to get to where they are now. So I understand it's a process. Might not happen at 25, but I believe, if you believe in it and you work hard like you did as a player and you outwork everybody and you do things the right way, I think things can happen. But no, man, I'm not, whether it's D2, D3, NAIA, doesn't matter, man. As long as I have a good job that can support me, and my family and, what I value, it doesn't matter. I'll coach anywhere, but I love to eventually, coach at Purdue one day. That'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And thinking along those same lines, long-term goal, would you want to be like a head coach at, Purdue eventually when Painter leaves, or like long-term goal, would you want to go to the NBA and be a head coach there? Is that like your dream job?
Yeah, I think my dream job would be like, overall would be the head coach Purdue one day. Like that'd be awesome, being the head coach of where you played. Like I think that would be my NBA as a player, like being a head coach at Purdue. But I never really thought about coaching at the NBA level. I think it's awesome, like hearing Coach Shrewsbury's stories and just like his connections. Like Coach Stevens recruited me at Butler, so I kind of know Coach Stevens, and we were able to go to a shoot around this year with Coach Shrewsbury and talk to him again, which was cool. So I like what the NBA level brings. They have a lot of different positions you can do. So I think that'd be a good resume builder, not necessarily being a coach, but just getting in the NBA, get your foot in the door. I think that'd be a good resume builder with anything, whether I'm a assistant to the assistant workout guy or whatever it is. Just making connections everywhere, I think helps you in the long run. So.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Eric Spoelstra. He was the film coordinator.
Right.
I forget what it's called, but that's how he got his foot in the door in the NBA, and now he's top 5, one of the best coaches in the NBA right now. So it's obviously doable, but I appreciate how you said it's a slow grind.
Mm-hmm.
So we're about to run out of time, but before I let you go, you talked about being a big brother to some of the guys. Do you see any of your former teammates say like an aspect of Raphael's mindset or Vince on the court? Do you see any of that in some of the guys that are currently on the team?
I definitely think this group is like they're talented. I think they are right now. It's more of a lead by committee group, more so than it's like, okay, that guy is the leader of this, Purdue team right now. I think things can change. But right now I think it's a lead by committee group, and I think that's part of them growing up, and individually is like, who's going to step up and, take over that role. And guys have tried to step up. Like, I've been proud of my brother. He's talking more. Like, everyone has to start playing better and being more consistent in their play. But he's talking more, that matters. Like Eric Hunter, coming off a good sophomore year, he's a quiet guy by nature, but he's talking more. That Sasha Stevan, like, he's talking more. Ethan Morton and Jaden Ivey, 2 freshman guards. They're quiet. They're by nature, but they do it more so in their their work. Like, they're the first ones here in the morning working out every day. And that's kind of similar to how it was with us as freshmen at first. We were showing up 30 minutes before we had to be there, 45 minutes before we had to be there every day. And that kind of set the tone for the rest of the group. And then it wasn't necessarily by our words, because we were freshmen. We didn't know any better. So it was more so by our work ethic. And that's kind of similar to what I have seen so far with like Jaden and like our younger guys, Jaden and Ethan. They really have taken that aspect, like, okay, I'm gonna work as hard as I can to put myself in a good position to play minutes on this team. So like you said, just to wrap it up, I think it's a lead by committee group right now, but we have a lot of guys that are stepping out of their shells slowly but surely. And obviously the quicker you can do that, the better success we'll have. But I'm proud of, them, how they've grown up so far.
100%. I think last thing, I think that's kind of, it resembles you and your class. It was you, Dakota, Vince, and Isaac. I mean, from the outside looking in, obviously we don't know how practices were running, things of that nature. But it seems like you guys all led by example. You guys weren't necessarily the most talkative on the court, as it would appear to us as the fans. But, I mean, from what you said, it has a lot of resemblances.
Definitely. Yeah, I think it definitely has a lot of resemblances, man. These guys are hungry, and they're talented basketball players. Like Coach Painter always says, you guys wouldn't be here if I didn't think you're good enough. Now it's about just finding your niche, finding your role, and doing it at an elite level. But you guys are here for a reason. You guys are all good basketball players. Now you just got to take it to the next level. And like I said, find your niche and find your role. But no, I'm definitely proud of these guys, man. They're working hard. They're doing the right things, especially in such a weird dynamic. It's just weird with everything that's going on in the world. But these guys are staying focused, man, and I'm proud of them. So, I'm looking forward to the season.
Well, like I said, we got to wrap this up. But thank you so much for coming on. It was really fun. It was an honor to talk to you. I've been looking up to you since I was middle school, which is kind of a weird thing to say. But good luck this season. I hope you and all the guys are staying safe.
Yep, man. Stay safe, man. Let me know if you ever need anything. Thanks for having me on.
Yep, for sure.
Yep, later.